So it's us, right?
7 o'clock.
Ding, ding, ding.
Winner.
Ready to commence the meeting? We're not being recorded or anything, are we?
You have to take minutes.
Okay. Yeah, you're reminding me this time, because the first time I forgot.
Well, if I remember correctly, the schedule, it said the first thing we were gonna do is elect a chair.
Right.
So I nominate Tom Murdock as the chair.
Oh,
Oh, second, you do get
Okay.
closer.
I'll do it again if you want me to. Scott,
But
what's your vote?
I don't have to.
You don't
you
have
haven't-
to.
You haven't called the vote yet. You've had a nomination and a second.
Oh, okay.
Ask for discussion. If there's none,
Discussion?
then you call for the vote.
I don't wanna do it. Just kidding. You're fantastic.
I nominate you.
Yeah.
No, okay. All right,
No discussion?
no discussion. Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Motion passes.
So you just need to say,
Gavel, okay.
for the minutes, who was here,
Okay.
who made the motion, who seconded it, and what the vote was.
Where the heck? Oh, what's today? 12th. 19. Is it on here somewhere? Yes.
What?
First and last names.
Hawthorne,
Hawthorne. Thank you.
just like the author.
I guess I don't.
Any relation?
write it all out.
I don't think
To
so.
your, yeah, no.
But I'm in the right group to say that because you say it sometimes people look like the author.
Who's that?
Who?
Well, nobody else is coming.
I had a class.
The deaf old man is moving over near
Come on
the
in.
group.
Do you want me to take notes for you if you're gonna
Oh.
totally share?
That would be awesome if you don't mind.
I
This-
think
this
as long
is-
as you
And
give
my
me the-
writing is so horrible that I can't even read it when I go to type it up.
Can I have a piece, can I have that piece of paper?
Yeah, do my, we started, oh, I would
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
oh, if you have a pen, I
You have
can,
a pen.
thanks.
And you only have to do minutes when the board isn't here, because otherwise.
Because otherwise it's,
we'll-
yeah,
Okay.
Denise or whatever, whoever.
Well, most likely Julie will come and she'll record it, and then Denise will transcribe it.
Oh,
So-
right, that's right.
So we only need to do it for this meeting, and the meeting that's on the 12th of December.
When we convene to talk, okay.
Yeah, the only other time we meet without them is the 14th, the 14th and the 12th. 14th of November and the 12th of December, because they're not here,
Right,
so we have to do our own minutes.
okay. So, proposed budget presentation schedule, does everybody, is that okay with everybody, or?
There's a couple of changes.
Okay.
So, well, I can send out a new one, but Heritage Commission is not asking for any money, so we can cross them
Oh,
off.
right. Yeah, I saw that. Just take them right off?
Yep, take them right off. And the Conservation Commission, which is on the same day,
Hmm.
is gone. They're not asking for any money either.
So the 11/7, that'll be a,
The other problem we have is December 5th is the volunteer
oh,
party.
right, yeah.
So we need to find another day. The problem is Thursdays are very popular.
Yes.
John LaCourse can't make it for certain Thursdays. I can't make it the third Thursday of the month. So, and the presentation, just edification, is December 16th, 2019 at the board meeting. So get your speaking practice in so you can do your.
Kind of like what I did last year.
Yeah, cut it
Yeah.
up. Have any questions?
All right, so I have John's, yeah, I'll put together the same thing and send it out to everybody, and they can comment, and.
So we need to find another date for December.
So 12/16, you said that is?
12/16 is the presentation, 6:30 they start, and I'm not sure where you'd be on the agenda, but
Wait a minute, I don't, oh, that's 12. Yeah, I was sorry, I was just like, make sure you have the date, so it's got it, we're trying to fit in between the 5th and the 12th.
or we can find some other day in there. I think the rest of the Thursdays are tight, because there's nothing, so I don't know.
12/16, what is that? Is
We're in
It's a
December.
Monday.
It's a Monday. oh,
Yeah, it's a Monday.
I just can't do it on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
That's,
Rebecca, you can't do it
Monday
on,
nights may be
Thursdays.
tough.
I thought you said Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, what did I say? Oh,
You
I
just
can do
said Thursdays.
Thursdays, I'm sorry, I was answering the wrong question.
Can't do it on Wednesday
Sorry, Wednesday.
for her.
can't do it on Wednesdays. You can't do it on Tuesdays.
And sometimes I won't be able to do it on Mondays. I've got a new job.
Oh,
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got a new job?
I'm town administrator at Effingham. Their board of selectmen
Are you
on
really?
Tuesday nights, but they're into work sessions on Monday nights occasionally.
oh,
You're the
okay.
town administrator on,
Yeah,
for Effingham?
yeah.
Holy cow.
Effingham, where is Effingham?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Ospey,
Oh, ooh.
go east.
Oh, yeah.
Towards Maine. It's the one town stuck between Ossipee and the Maine border.
So like Route 16
Yeah.
all the way? How long does it take you?
About an hour and 2 minutes. One way.
Oh, my goodness. Every day?
I told them I'd only do it for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Because the town
Were they
administrator
desperate?
wanted to
Yeah.
retire. Plus, there was some issues. And so I kind of got recruited because one of their selectmen knew me. And I said,
Good luck.
I
for
said,
2
okay,
years.
2 years, no more than 2 years. And my real plan is to get them ready to hire someone in a year. But I
In
didn't
a
realize there
year,
were
oh,
quite
yeah.
as many problems as there are. They left a few of them out when they discussed it.
Uh-oh, Oh, good luck.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my problem. Definitely can't do it Tuesday nights.
Okay.
And a lot of Monday nights I'm tied up.
Okay,
So is that every day you gotta go?
I go 4 days a week.
4 days, yeah.
That's why Thursday nights are great, because I get to sleep Friday. I don't work Fridays.
So, wait a minute, and then Rebecca, you can't do Wednesdays?
Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday.
So,
Wednesday I would have to
so
adjust.
you can do Monday and Tuesday?
No,
Oh, you can't do?
can't.
No, Monday, Tuesday.
So for that board meeting, which is on Monday, I'm gonna have to adjust one of my clients and tell them that I'm not gonna be able to be
Right.
there, so.
Well, the other thing you could do, Tom, is you could appoint a
Speaker?
speaker. if you
But
want to.
is Scott Bugby appointable?
I can't do that.
Not because of
no.
the Board of Selectmen, right, so it would have to be one of us.
That's one of the reasons I don't, and I shouldn't be the chair of the group. I should be,
That's what, I know.
all right, so, oh, and Pat, I don't remember what Pat said. Well, no,
So it's really
Friday?
Thursday and Friday.
Friday. And Thursday, there's no more free Thursday, so it sounds like a Friday.
So Friday, yeah, I could. Yeah.
You could do it the next day, 12/6. The Fair Committee, Planning and Zoning, and EMS, we kind of stick those together because Karen does those. Karen Rossi.
Hmm.
Can we move any of them to the, that one that just got everybody canceled?
Selectmen's budget is the biggest one. That takes an hour and a half. You could move,
Yeah, that. on
you
to
could move the Town
11/7.
Center Vision Committee. This is gonna take a while.
Mm,
These are like an hour, all three of them.
We only gained, what,
what
like
do you
20
gain?
minutes?
You gain 20 minutes.
Oh, never mind.
The thing that Steve requested a switch, he's retracted that, so he's gonna stay on the 31st.
Right.
He wanted to go trick or treating with his kids, and I think somebody
I
pointed out to
know.
him, trick or treating is usually done by 7 o'clock, so,
And it's usually on the 30th anyway.
Well, I'm looking at the 17th and
17th of,
October.
yeah, John and I can't do that day, we've got meetings, that's the third.
You already got a meeting here. October 17th.
No, I don't have that meeting.
10/17.
I don't have that meeting.
Oh, you're not coming?
I can't. I tried to put the thing that was less
Right.
problematic on that
Oh.
day.
So Scott isn't gonna be able to be here.
I won't be there at the 17th, neither will John. And I don't know the conversation you had with John, Tom, but he should be okay with that as well. It's the cemetery trustees and all the, because really these, she's gonna give you a notebook with all the requests and stuff, unless you wanna ask them questions, and he doesn't, I wouldn't think. want to.
Yeah,
Cemetery trustees, they're probably gonna ask for the same thing, so I'm not,
Right, it's all stuff that's just regular, normal.
and we invite all these, but most of the time, nobody shows up. The only one that
Couple of
really,
them came last year.
Cornerstone came,
Oyster River Youth will come.
Oyster River Youth. I don't remember the other ones.
I don't,
Now, let me ask another question.
Oh, Stratford County Nutrition, Meals on Wheels, they
yeah,
came.
she came.
Why do we need an internal budget discussion before we get to the planning, zoning, code enforcement, fire department, EOC?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hmm?
Because you can split them up, you can talk about these up here, because there's no other time to do it. It's usually at the end, but there was not enough Thursdays and stuff. You can't do the fire department until after they have the meeting, which is usually the 1st of December. So you can't even do them before they have their meeting.
What he's saying is the internal budget discussion. Oh, because that was a day that John can't come. And
Right.
so Scott just put that in for us,
And I can come.
so, and Scott can come. Because
Isn't this wonderful?
we don't need anyone else, you know, we don't need any of the other
I
selectmen.
was just trying to see where we could,
I was trying to think, remember why you did that, but that's why,
Yep.
yeah.
So usually and when we've had to do it in the past, Brian, we just talk about the ones that already been presented
I
and
know.
see if we can
I
come to
was
some.
trying, I didn't realize.
You were
I was-
trying to get the spot,
I was
yeah.
trying to get the spot, and move the others up.
Right,
Well,
what if,
you get me, but you wouldn't get John, and then John wouldn't.
But I mean, that's what I was trying to do.
unless John says okay, but for the
He's gonna wanna listen to the CIP one.
yeah, that's true.
you said they can't go till after the 1st of December.
Usually it's the end of November, 1st of December, so you kinda have to put them afterwards.
Well, let me ask
So we
another
gotta figure out,
question.
so what about like the 6th of December?
Let me ask another question. In December,
Yep,
why do we have to be done the 12th? Why can't we be done the 19th?
because the presentation is on the 16th.
That's why we have to be done the 12th.
You can be done the 13th or the 15th, just as long as it's done by the 16th.
The presentation's on a Thursday?
Monday.
Monday
It's on
the
a Monday.
16th.
The 16th.
Okay, all right. then.
Because that's the last meeting that we have before we have to start doing all the warrant articles and stuff and have our discussions as well. Most likely there's gonna be a bond, so that's usually the first week of January, so we have to get all of our stuff in a row.
You're gonna try to bond for
Before
town center
Christmas.
again?
Well, we haven't talked about it, but where else do we have millions of dollars? But we can get that when we get to number,
Is anybody working on getting publicity so it might pass?
we gotta do the plan first before we do publicity. But yes,
But I'm
that's
just,
part of
There
our,
still is the Town Center Vision Committee,
Yep.
and they're still working on it and
I don't know, I guess
discussing options.
in my humble opinion, I would have started long before this,
well, we
given
don't,
it didn't even get a majority vote the last time.
but we gotta create the plan. So we've been working internally, we meet every single week, excuse my French. So we've spent an awful lot of time, but how about if we finish this?
Okay,
Get to that.
so this is what I'm hearing, we have to fit a meeting in between the 2nd of December and the 12th of December because of the
Yes.
fire people. So looking at the week of the 2nd of December and the 12th of December, what day can we meet? Is any of those, is the
I
2nd
thought you
or the
said,
9th?
suggested like Friday, December 6th,
Mm,
is that,
Yeah,
or not? Not for you?
I'm supposed to be doing something for the PTO, but they'll have to do it without me. If that's what it is, they'll have to do it without me.
Because isn't that pretty much the
I
only?
mean, I think that's, unless the 2nd or the 9th, one of those Mondays works, I don't know.
So
There's-
instead of December 5th, all of that is gonna be December 6th.
The other thing you can do, there's nothing that stops us from meeting on Saturdays or Sundays. I don't know what other people, but you don't have to constrain yourself to just weekdays. I don't know what other people's,
Can it work for anybody?
I,
Go, I mean,
I
can
don't
do the
have anything
6th,
on the schedule, my wife
I can do the
complains when I
7th,
do that.
and I can do
because
the
of-
8th. So,
She retired and I went back to work.
Yeah, what are you doing? It would be fine with me, I don't care, but weekends are probably pretty precious
Are they
for
tight for
you
you?
and,
Do you enjoy spending time with that adorable child of mine? Did you see him? He's pretty cute.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
yes,
if I
yes.
have to, I have to. It's fine, it's
Well-
not the end of the world.
You could do Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Can December 6th work for
Yeah.
everybody?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, make me work.
If everybody's good with that.
So I'm editing and moving it to the 6th.
All right, so I'll move this one to the 6th, so Friday.
So just put.
Same
December-
times? Is everybody okay with that?
I have to change the posting, but that's fine.
But that one starts at 6:30, right? It's the only one that starts at 6:30? Okay.
That one? Oh, it's at 6:30.
So then Julie will send that out, and then everybody will go, oh, or these people will either to say yes or no. Like, can we
Well,
move
it'll
maybe?
be helpful for the fire people because Thursday is usually their volunteer night.
That's the meeting night.
Yeah,
for the
so-
association, so,
That might be easier for
and,
them.
or for training or whatever.
I don't know about Bob Smith and the CIP, but we'll send it out and see what they say.
Yeah. So 12:06.
So we do have an extra hour. I mean, this first meeting on 10:03,
Yeah,
it only goes till 8. Also, these go till 9. So if someone wants that extra hour there, if someone goes at 5th, they could always meet there.
So 6:30 again, or,
The CIP.
you could move the fair committee and the fire, well, you can't move the fire
Yeah, from the
department.
fire department.
Fair committee's Karen too, so those kind of have to stay the same. You could move town center vision committee.
So as I'm saying, if he says anything, you can give him that second option.
Like the CIP, he's not gonna be done. He's
Mhm.
usually, you could put him maybe on the 7th if you wanted to. You could do that.
Doesn't, but, okay.
I don't know if he's, see, I don't know what Bob's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be in terms of Reddick. He's usually not ready,
So
so.
put it on the 6th one.
Recreation Commission is quick, Selectmen budget is not quick.
No, it's
So
probably.
if you have CIP and Selectmen budget
That's a
on the
little bit
same
too
day,
much.
that,
But you can move the town center vision committee a little bit, maybe, I don't know.
oh yeah.
We should know what we're doing by the 6th.
Maybe you
So-
won't even take half an hour?
No, I don't, no.
Okay.
Because basically, we're gonna tell you, this is what we're gonna propose, because what's gonna happen is, we're gonna propose something to the select board, just in terms of what the project is. We had a meeting with them on Monday, we did a presentation, they picked a 2-story building. So we're charged to go out and cost a 2-story building with a site cost, and also to prepare numbers in terms of how much it will take to renovate the town hall. So we're gonna be presenting them numbers. At that point, the board has to figure out how we're gonna pay for it and stuff like that, so,
So this is a different option than what was proposed.
yeah, this has
It's like
nothing,
Way, yeah.
the library's totally separate. What you're gonna see is you're gonna see a
That
town,
passed, didn't it?
what?
The library
No,
and doing
no, the
the,
town vision,
No,
because it was all same bond, and the bond failed.
yeah, so now
I thought
library's
that
doing their,
something was separate with the library. There was something on there.
oh, their
What
capital
are the-
reserve fund money's passed. So,
Maybe that was on there, okay.
so you get a municipal office building, and then you're gonna get some kind of warrant in terms of putting money aside for the town hall. We are gonna have an assessment done. Town hall, what is it now, what do you want it to be? And there's gonna be historical people coming in and telling us, okay, to make it, we're proposing to send it back to a meeting room, meeting area. So we'll have that number. So if we set aside another 150,000, because we're supposed to do 100,000 2 years, but they only did 50, then we can also apply for grants, matching grants, 50% matching grants. So we're thinking it's gonna be around $400,000 to fix it. But we're gonna have people come in and tell us that. So if we set aside 200, we apply to L-chip for another 200, we'll see. So you probably see.
And that would
most of-
take care of that. And then the rest is just a 2-story building with,
Yep, and then we're also gonna do an assessment of the parish house, The plan is to put the committees and commissions, but we don't know how much it's gonna cost to do that.
To redo that?
Yeah, if it's too expensive, I don't think we're even gonna propose anything.
To do what?
Turn it into a place for the committees and commissions. Because right now, they're in the top of the town hall and stuff, so,
I understand that, but that building's in tough shape.
well, that's where we're gonna have somebody come in and do the same thing we did for the town hall, do an assessment. What we do is, it's basically 4 rooms on the first floor, 2 of them will be offices, and then 1 would be opened up to be a large meeting space for the committees and commissions.
In the parish house.
Parish.
It would have to be like structurally sound
Yeah.
and everything else.
Well,
They'll
that's
have to redo the foundation and
The
all
foundation
that.
has to be redone.
Yeah,
So-
all of that.
We're gonna see if it's, 200,000, maybe. If it's 400 or 500,000, probably not. So, but that's what the assessment's gonna tell us.
Because we were thinking it was gonna cost us 100,000 just to make it livable again if we were gonna use it.
Well, that's-
Oh, the church had it? Yeah.
80 to 100 grand.
That's, yeah, because it needs some assistance.
Well, it didn't help that the pipes froze.
Yeah,
And then-
well, that's the least of its problems,
Well,
so.
but the water, the damage that
That was
came
damage,
because of the frozen pipes.
But if we renovate it, all that stuff's gonna be stripped out anyways, so. But we'll see.
It's just structurally, foundation and the structure, then, yeah, see what it takes to make that.
Needs to be
sound.
insulated too.
And
Needs
then
to be
all the other
insulated.
stuff is.
Yeah. Hearing aids hear him better than they hear.
Sorry.
What did you say?
I'll tell Tom and Tom can tell you.
Yeah.
No, it needs insulation as well,
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
other thing it
Yeah.
needs, so.
Now,
But
there
that's-
was insulation blown into that, but it was a formaldehyde-based insulation
Oh,
years
that
ago.
stinky stuff, I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that.
that happened a long time ago.
So, but that's what we're having the assessment done, to see how much it would cost to do all that stuff. The other thing we have to deal with is, it's right, it doesn't meet the setback. So, 1 of 2 things would have to happen. 1, build a new foundation, pick it up, put it on the new foundation. Or 2, pick it up, build a new foundation, put it back down, and then see if the church will give us, a lot line adjustment, so we get the 25 feet, so maybe the line right now the line goes straight, line
Oh,
jogs out.
jeez, it's on their property. Can you
Why not get away?
go to
with
the
it?
town and get a variance?
Why?
Why?
Can't, we've already explored that. Karen says, according to the reasons to give a variance, we created the problem ourselves by putting the lot line where it is. So when you create the problems, that's not a reason to give
I
a
didn't think
variance.
the town had to get a variance.
We're trying to take the
I
tack.
know, is that a state thing? or is
Brian
that
Burke does something, he has to do this. Town does something, town has to do the same thing.
I
So there's
understand
no.
that, but technically, the town does not.
Technically, that's true, but we try to stay within our own rules.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, when the library was gonna put their addition on, part of the addition was in the wetland setback, which you have to get a variance for. So we go in front of the ZBA and say, blah, 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 give us a variance, please. We don't have to do that, but we should, just like everybody else. So. Ugh. That's number 2.
Well, maybe you'd get the variance.
No, we will. Karen said no, and because Jim Banks was telling us, he's the chair of the ZBA, he said,
Oh.
oh, you can get a variance, we'll give you a variance. And then Karen heard that we were doing this, and Karen says, no, you can't, and here's the rules, the RSA's that say you can't. So then Jim comes back and says, sorry, I was wrong, you can't have a variance. So
Oh, jeez.
that's when he came back and said, you should see if the church would allow you to get a lot line adjustment so you get your 25 feet, so you keep it where it is.
At least like,
It'd
and
be-
then it could go in, right?
All that has to be is a little jog, so,
Where does jog have to be?
right next to the house.
25 feet
Yeah.
from the house into the church property.
Now, isn't the well in violation because it's too close to the property line anyway now?
You have a grandfather, I believe, on that.
Grandfathered from,
Whenever you put in the well, I don't remember when that
no, the
was.
well was on our property, because we own the property.
But it's still on your property.
Yeah, but the lot line adjustment will make the well in
Nope,
violation.
we wouldn't do that, so
Okay,
I don't have a,
I'm just being devil's advocate here.
no, that's fine. So this is the road,
Yeah,
this is the church,
yeah,
this is rough, very rough.
yeah.
So your well sits out here, your parking lot comes like this, something like that. So the lot line comes like this and goes just like that. It goes within 23 inches of that structure on the backside.
Oh, jeez.
And it goes like that. So what Mr. Banks was saying is, if you bring this out like this,
25 feet.
25 feet, and come back in and then continue on. So the lot line would be this section, so it gives you 25 feet. That's not the scale.
Yeah, I understand.
I have a drawing that shows all that, but I don't have that with me.
But I guess we didn't think about that before we
Well,
did that.
remember, when the original book came up, the structure was going to be removed,
That's right.
so we didn't really care.
That's true.
Because that's the only way John LaCourse would allow it on the ballot, because he didn't want it.
And now he's considering it?
Now he wants us to look into making it useful for the town. Because just like the town hall is eligible for grants, the parish house can be eligible as well. So if we can get, let's say for instance, to fix the parish house is 200,000. If we can get a grant for 100,000, and it's all up to the legislative body if they want to do it. So all we're doing is bringing proposals to them and they can let us know if they want to do it or not. And just remember, also remember, the middle school is gonna be asking for $49 million.
Oh, Jesus,
So,
yes.
This year.
yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Now,
I saw,
I agree, I think they need a middle school. I think the
Oh, yeah.
location they're putting it is terrible.
you don't like that?
Oh, hell no, it's on the side of that bank and I'm not sure how you're gonna build it.
Dawn Jeans and I were the representatives on the committee, the middle school committee, and she and I were disagreeing in terms of where it should be. She and I both thought it should be someplace off-site.
Did you guys have a second possible site?
Yeah, the Goss Manufacturing, that's another place we could stick it.
The where?
Technology Drive,
Okay.
where Hollyberg Harris used to be.
Yeah, Goss is no longer there. right?
So there was a couple other places, but basically, the
They
committee
wanted
was
it.
stacked with people from Durham. So Durham says, our citizens don't want our kids to not be able to walk to school. And then Dawn and I says, well, how many kids is that? Well, there's hundreds of kids that walk to school. Well, when we got to the end, we kind of figured out it was a little bit more than 60. Everybody else drove their kids. So it didn't make any difference where they went, so. But there's, based on the
I
number of
guess
kids.
it's nice, and people are thinking, it's nice that the middle school has always been right down from high school. They have, some people have kids in high school and middle school, and convenience-wise,
That's fine, except the
It was
slope on that
nice.
hill for the design.
maybe structurally, it's
It
not.
ought to be, it ought to be not buildable because of the slope, I don't know how, are they
Well, they're gonna be
fill it
in from the slope,
Where's
I
the
don't know.
slope?
There's a
on the
little
opposite
stream.
side of
Do you know where the middle school is now?
the
Yeah.
field.
Oh,
I never know.
go down the hill towards the high school,
SAU building.
they're gonna build it down the hill.
I thought they were
No.
building it on, they're building it on the current fields.
Yeah, they're not building it down the hill.
Well, at the
They're
end of
not.
the field, it goes like this down.
That's why it's not, I don't see what the issue is really. It's gonna be on that field in from the slope,
Mhm.
Yeah.
quite a bit. And then it's gonna be on those fields right there, no, not touching the slope. And then, once that's all constructed, then they're gonna take down the old building, and that's gonna be where the fields and the parking lots and stuff like that are. There may even be like a parking lot behind the school a little bit.
Oh, there, yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah, behind where the school's gonna be, so it's not gonna disrupt that slope at all.
I don't care if it disrupts the slope, I just.
No, I mean, it's not even gonna be close, it's not gonna be down, yeah.
I'm gonna have to see.
So it actually looks pretty good, I
you
mean,
seen the
Todd
design?
Allen was
I
at
saw
the
the
fair,
plans.
and I saw the whole layout and his design, the design that they have and everything. It actually looks really nice, and they're trying to do, you know, environmentally friendly geothermal and solar, and have it be sustainable for a long period of time and so forth. The whole thing looks great, it's just gonna cost a lot of money.
Yep. All right.
So,
Anything else with two? Yeah,
so the schedule, yeah.
we should be good.
Yeah.
I sent out the latest expense reports. We get them now
Oh, yeah.
every 2 weeks, so those I'll continue to send it to you.
Thank you.
I don't know, I printed it, but.
For the next meeting, we should have the books. I don't know if she'll have them ready beforehand, but the books you usually get with
Right.
anything,
So I
so.
gotta bring her back mine, I'll do that.
Oh, you
You
didn't do
didn't
that?
bring it back yet?
I'll
Oh,
do that.
I just did.
you're on the list. You just did it.
Like yesterday.
Oh,
Um,
they only yelled at me and you.
I didn't take one.
You didn't take one. So they were just, oh, that was
They have to
getting
find
sworn
it.
in. That was getting sworn in, but I gave mine back like the next day after, and then she sent out a thing, like people passing your
Yeah, I
books,
saw
but.
it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's when I asked Joe to take mine in when he registered our cars.
Oh, geez.
And we had a whole conversation about where it went and all this stuff, so I thought it was done. And then it was not done.
So, are we good with the schedule?
Yeah?
Think so.
And you'll make those
Yep.
changes
Well, I'll
and
make the
send that back
changes
out?
and change the version number, and I'll send out a new posting to change it so it's from the 5th to the 6th.
Okay, everybody in agreement with it? Do we have to have a motion or anything, or just
Yeah.
go?
Just changing the schedule.
Okay. All right, select board has budget guidelines for the departments.
The thing we've told them is to keep their budget increases to 2% or less. Even if they're asking for new stuff, they still have to stay within the 2%. So if somebody wants a new position, they have to find it within their budget, but they can increase their budget request by up to 2%. So that's what we should be seeing. We're trying to be sensitive to a couple of things. We're gonna be asking for different warrant articles for money for town center project, town hall, but also we're sensitive to the fact that the middle school is gonna be asking, or the school district is gonna be asking money for the middle school too. So we're trying to do a little bit to help that out.
So what about when the fire and police come up again and they ask for those positions again? and-
I don't think the fire department is gonna ask. The
They'll be
police
all
chief
set.
might,
Right,
if he can find it within his budget.
because he said last year, yeah,
Yep.
go with the fire, but, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the fire department, I haven't heard anything in terms of asking for a new person.
no.
Police department might, if he can find it within his budget, that's fine. And he's got a big budget, so 2%
Isn't this
is,
all part of the building, like, with the fire department? I know you guys have been meeting and working on
well, not so much like,
adding,
well, last year, in terms of, at least for me, it was, which do we need more? And I thought we needed the fire person more
Right.
than we needed the police person.
Why
But we'll
didn't you
see.
put it to the legislative body?
That's
Both
what-
of
that was
us,
one of the
which
things
is what
that-
I think we
we
recommend.
suggested.
I don't remember who it was, I think it was John, said he did not want to do that. He wanted to keep it in the operating budget, and didn't want to ask. We've done it before.
Maybe we'll decide we want to suggest that again?
Okay. Yeah. Remember, we're advisory, we can tell them anything we
Right,
want.
right.
But I'm just telling you in terms of the guidelines that we told the department heads.
Yeah. So that's good, I mean, but obviously if they need something in their budget, then we have to consider it.
Yep, yep.
So
So-
we'll see what they ask for.
That was only the guidelines that we gave them, the 2%. We looked at the CPI, and it's under 2%. It was like 1.6, and then this last month, it jumped up to 1.8 annualized. So we figured 2%, it kind of holds the budget and gives them just a little bit. So we'll see.
Yep. So 2%. All right. Budget goals and topics for the upcoming budget process.
I don't know if we have goals ourselves or things we want to discuss.
Just, we gotta look over the budget and see what people ask for and what, hopefully they're in. Yeah, if they hold to the 2%, then basically you're gonna give them
Yeah.
what they want. Anyway,
Couple of things.
so we have to see.
We finally got the money from the Veterans Resort Chapel. It's $103,000. We'll probably be hit by an abatement to Market Basket. Most likely it's gonna be 50,000, so that's gonna come off.
Oh, they filed for
Yes,
an abatement for
Yeah.
taxes?
yeah.
What was the reason?
We overassessed them.
Do we actually?
Did we?
reverse those?
Depends on who you talk to.
The assessor,
Our assessor thought it was fine. We hired somebody to come in and, from the outside, and he thought it was a little too high. Market Basket thought it was less, so we kind of like in the middle.
You
Kind
met
of.
somewhere in the middle? So the
Yeah.
50 is actually a compromise?
Yes, it's a compromise in our
Jeez.
favor as well.
Really?
Yeah. So, thinking of anything else,
what's happening with the poles,
the polls.
telephone poles?
Oh, don't get me started on the polls.
What?
That's still an issue?
Yes, it is. They came to us,
I wanna hear this, cause I got a vested interest in the other
I'm
side.
trying to remember what I can tell you and what I can't, because it was discussed in a non-public.
Recap the issue?
The assessment for telephone poles, we can assess public right away. And we've had this particular assessment, I don't know for how long, forever.
Long time.
And Fairpoint has disputed that, saying it's overassessed. So they went to,
Eversource did too.
now this is just still Fairpoint. We don't have a thing with Eversource.
You don't have PSNH poles in this town? You
No,
should.
we do, but we don't have a court
An
case.
issue with them? Oh, okay.
What'd you do, settle?
No, and they never, no, it's just Fairpoint.
Okay, cause we settled with Fairpoint, and we're still fighting with Eversource on
Yeah,
PSNH.
we're doing
So-
Fairpoint. So, they went to Superior Court, I don't remember which one, I don't know if it's Merrimack or whatever, and they won judgment. The towns that are in the coalition, there's 130 of them, appealed it, so it's an appeal to the state Supreme Court. And that's gonna be heard sometime next month.
I think so, that's right.
So they offered to settle beforehand, but we were told, just wait and see. The only thing that's costing us is, whatever the abatement is, it's 6% of that we're getting charged, so.
Well, we settled it with Fairpoint, but we're still fighting with Eversource.
You say we for,
Town of Effingham.
Yeah.
oh, really?
'Cause
You already did
I
that?
don't remember ever having a suit from Eversource.
So we'll stand by.
Thanks a lot.
Because
Because, oh, wow.
they didn't sue until Fairpoint started to settle.
Oh.
Stand by.
So I haven't heard anything about.
You got more Eversource poles here in town.
Yeah.
I know that from being the police chief, because that's who set the poles here.
So.
When you had one clipped off, that's who you,
We
It's called
replaced it.
Eversource? Yeah.
boy, you call PSNH in those
Or
days.
PSNH,
I haven't been the
yeah.
police chief in 20 years,
Yeah,
so.
I know.
Well, my Eversource bill just went up like,
It's what?
my Eversource bill just went up like 20% this month.
Oh, yeah,
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Anybody else notice that?
I actually got solar, so I didn't, I
Did
mean,
you
in the winter,
experience
it's gonna be,
that?
huh? You should definitely consider
Did
it.
you,
My Eversource bill was $12.
do you buy your power from
Wow.
Eversource?
No,
Oh, okay.
oh God, no.
That's a way to save money too.
No, I did that, and then I bought it from another company, and then my contract ran out with them, and they doubled the rates the next month. I was like, really? Well, I guess I'm not staying with you.
No.
Like, that was
See, we're
crazy.
co-op, and co-op's at where I'm living, and that's a good price.
New Hampshire Electric Co-op.
Yeah.
Down that way, we're Eversource
So,
for,
budget goals and topics.
700.
Hmm?
I'm just thinking if there's anything else.
Budget goals, topics, yeah, upcoming budget
So-
process. We're just gonna have to consider it when we see what they
So the
want, right?
The Town Center Vision Committee, they're gonna propose the project with a dollar amount, and then the board will have to decide what they're gonna do. Most likely it's gonna be a bond. I don't know if we'll take some money out of one of the capital reserve funds or not. But that will be one article, and there'll be one for the town hall to put money aside in that fund that we created last year with 50,000, or this last March with 50,000. It's anticipating, because by that time we'll know how much it costs to renovate and repurpose the town hall.
Those will be warrant articles, so then we'll,
Yeah, so you'll see them.
Yeah.
Like everybody else. What else? I think that's it for those. I don't know of any easements that are coming down the pike. That's another thing that's usually on there. When we get the CIP discussion, we'll get the amounts to go to the capital reserve funds. As far as I know, they're not buying a fire truck this year, so
no.
that's not expense.
No.
Can't think of
And I
anything else.
guess maybe he's not going for another, originally it was in the plan, I guess, over the course of the next few years to build up to
Yes,
have another, either full-time or part-time, to be able to cover everything.
well, it's the same issue that they got this one, because they're having a hard time finding volunteers to come, so.
Yeah. You can't run on
Yep.
volunteers anymore.
Well, you got some that are good, but
Yeah,
they
some.
coming, see, the thing is,
Like my daughter.
they
No.
come, they get trained,
She
but
is.
then they leave to go to get,
Well, because they want a full-time job, or at least a part-time job, so that's the thing. And that's what happens with,
You're going to compete forever
yep.
yeah.
until you get enough firefighters that you can run shifts. Because
And that's what, they had this whole plan that they were working towards, so that's why I was, bringing it up.
with the number of firefighters they've got, I don't think they can run shifts yet.
Nope,
Because on shifts.
Well, they
you
do
got
that
20
on-call thing,
Well, but
No, I
the
know.
shifts, you're on 24
yeah.
and you're off, so you can go get another part-time job. And that's not gonna happen for a long
Well-
time, because you just don't have the manpower.
The other thing, there's only so many full-time positions, and if you're one of the people that are doing part-time, you want benefits and stuff like that, so you go to a Durham or Dover or
Yeah.
something like that.
right.
And there's no way we could compete with what those people can offer, Portsmouth too. So, like,
That's why the plan, as I understood it, was that we were going to increase by another full-time position, whether it's every couple of years or something,
I haven't heard any
with
for
a
this year,
plan.
but we'll see.
Well, along the way, you kind of indicated that if we didn't do both last year, you'd do 1 and 1. And you're not gonna be able to do that at 2%. It's not.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
80% of his budget is payroll.
Mhm.
You're not gonna get that
Or even if Tom
person out of.
gets his person, right, this year, because last year we gave the fire department theirs, and even if it's every other year or something.
But your payroll, it might not be as high with the fire, but I think it is. Your payroll is 80 to 85, 82% of your
Mhm.
budget, so you're only talking about 18% of your budget, and you've still gotta run cruises and maintain them, and,
Mhm.
they pay the heat in the building, because that's
Half
not,
that, but yeah. Mhm.
yeah. But
Well, they're
he's-
paying less now. These lights
Yeah,
reduced by 30-some odd percent, 35%.
so a 2% increase doesn't allow for another person, obviously.
That's right.
Well, that's what we told them.
Yeah.
We're trying to hold the.
So we can see what they request, and then we decide from there.
Yep.
Right? I mean, as our committee, and then obviously the selectmen are gonna
Yep.
do what they need to do.
Yeah, which is not
Maintain the
necessarily
budget
to
and
follow us.
not what we do, I know.
I'm sorry I'm saying this, but I
He
remember
knows,
last
he
year,
needs to-
I remember, not last year, the year before, we said that we weren't gonna make the code enforcement guy full-time, and I thought that was agreed
Right.
on. Next thing I know, the code enforcement guy's full-time.
Well, we did say for now, and to see what the demand
Oh,
was.
Tom, come on.
We did, but that was definitely, but that's their prerogative. That's when the selectmen basically can,
That's personnel issue, so I can't comment on that.
yeah,
but Yes, that's true. We
Yeah.
did say that, so,
yeah.
because I was against it forever, because it didn't seem to be that much work.
I didn't think the numbers were there, that's
Right,
why.
and that's why we all basically agreed on that, but,
Yep.
and then it gets up to.
You all right?
No, it's cold.
Oh, okay.
It's cold. I know, I'm wearing like 5 layers.
It is cold.
too.
It
There's
is-
not many
it
more
is
layers.
getting
I can wear.
colder in
Like
here,
bring a
but-
blanket with, I'm gonna
Stick
get
your coat on.
snuggy.
So, yeah,
Okay.
so we'll have to see what people request and, you know,
Yeah.
Did you raise someone to run the dump, or is the highway guys doing
That was another personnel action, which
the
I
lead
cannot
transfer
comment on.
it? I just
center,
wanna know if there's a new person yet for it.
No, what's,
He's gonna
the
keep
previous
doing it.
transfer station manager is no longer employed,
That I was aware
Is
of.
what? What'd you
is
say?
no longer employed.
Toby's gone.
Toby's gone.
Yeah.
Who's,
So Steve Bullock, the person who took Randy's place, is now the public works manager. He's in charge of the highway department and also in charge of the transfer station.
Okay,
That does a couple of things. One, the people who work in the highway department can sub in the transfer station, and he's getting it so the people in the transfer station can sub in the highway
that was
department
smart.
by doing like plowing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So really, it gives
That's
him
actually
a lot of
really good.
flexibility. So let's say, for instance, he has a hard, well, just like we have a hard time finding firefighters, hard time finding people to plow snow. So he can leave a couple of people at the transfer station during a bad storm, because almost nobody comes anyways, because it's a bad storm.
Right.
And he can have those people plow snow for the town. And vice versa, when the highway department is slower, he can have them go to the transfer station and do a couple of things. Fill in when they need to, like if somebody's out sick. And
Some of those
also
projects that
work
need to
on
be done,
projects.
right?
Yeah.
Smart.
So I think it's gonna work out better. The other thing we're gonna do is, most likely we're gonna hire somebody with a CDL. I think he's advertised already. So really, the transfer station manager position is gone.
Yeah.
And we gave some extra additional funds to
To
Steve.
Steve, yeah.
So there's some money left over, so we're looking to hire somebody else to fill in terms of another body kind of thing, because technically they lost a body. But I don't think he's hired anybody yet, I think he's advertised.
Are they gonna hire someone full-time, or just another part-time?
I don't know,
Oh,
I don't remember what the ad said. But the person needs to have a CDL for plowing snow.
hmm.
They can have a
oh,
B.
that's what they want to see, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they need a B, they don't need an A, but usually if you get a B, you just might as well just do an A anyways, but they have to have a minimum of a B to drive the town.
What was Joe said something about, he was training his wife to do this transfer station, because they were short-handed or something?
Joe,
My husband,
Oh.
Joe, sorry.
Oh.
My husband said when he dumped stuff off the dump, that he had said, he's like, I think the guy's wife is there, he's trained her how to do it. Like, I don't know.
Jeff's wife Cheryl
oh, yeah,
has
yeah,
been
yeah.
in a few times
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, Jeff got his.
to help out, and she just fills in when
That's okay.
needed.
Well, she also drives a plow in the winter.
Yeah,
She
I
can?
didn't know he
Cheryl
was that
does?
short-handed.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she
Um,
did that.
Okay,
yeah, so
interesting, okay.
I think it'll work out, I think it'll work out fine. The problem is, well,
There's much better exposure, I'll tell you, with those two guys up there on the wall
Yeah.
every day, and
it's, unfortunately, Steve keeps finding things that need to be fixed, that supposedly were fixed, but they
oh,
weren't fixed.
really? Oh,
He was getting all stressed out, because he figured, oh, just as soon as he finds something, the board's gonna say, oh geez, why didn't you fix that, why didn't you fix that? He said, no, just put it on the list with everything else. He was getting so stressed, because he didn't have enough time to, when you find something wrong, to fix it,
Mhm.
so. he
didn't we
seems to
hear
be-
that same thing from Toby? Like, I don't have time to fix this, but I need to fix this, and,
Things seem to be running much nicer down there.
Yeah.
The employees seem to be much happier now, so.
there is a different attitude down there,
Yeah.
I must say.
Toby had a lot of problems with the volunteers
I don't know.
at the swap shop, and Steve's come down on them pretty hard, because they were taking things they weren't supposed to and not doing what they were supposed to, so. He's come down and said, this is the rules, if you don't follow the rules, you don't. So they've kind of taken that to heart. They seem to be doing well.
They may just say, the hell with it.
They're a little bit more dedicated than that.
Yeah,
There's one guy there, he's the tall guy with the beard, I don't remember his
Oh,
name.
yeah.
He did something he wasn't supposed to, so Steve said, you're out of here. So the rest of the volunteers showed up at a board meeting and said, would the board please reconsider and allow him to come back, because that's his social interaction. He lives by himself, I guess, in Durham,
Right.
so.
In Durham, but he volunteers at our swap shop?
Yep, he's lonely.
Yeah, he's.
So he comes there for socialization. So Steve says, okay, I'll let him back, but if something happens again, you're gone. And he agreed to it, so. But they seem to be supportive. They all showed up and said.
Supporting
"Please
to
allow
each
him
other,
come."
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
hopefully- So hopefully it works out good.
There's a few of them there.
I was there two,
Support each
3
other.
Saturdays ago, and I was talking to the same guy.
Yeah.
And this guy comes in with a whole bunch of stuff, a cardboard box with a Cuisinart and something else. And by the time he got to the door of the swap shop, all this stuff was gone. Because people were there looking, oh, what's this? Oh, I'll take
And they
that."
took it out of the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he came to the door, and all he has is a box left, empty box, and that was it. But it works out for the town because the less stuff
And
that
they
we
don't have
throw
to
away,
yeah.
we don't have to charge for it, so.
Right.
So, but the big thing you'll see
It's a
from
lot
the
of
transfer
boxes.
station is the cost to get rid of recyclables is going up. Used to be, most of them we got something for. These days, we don't get very much for a lot of them. One thing we do get a lot of money for is office paper. So he's gonna be doing a separate thing for office paper, because we get a lot of money for office
It's
paper.
more. Huh?
Yeah. So there's gonna be a few changes, but that's the biggest thing you'll see in revenue from transfer station is gonna be down.
Is he gonna separate that bin, like office paper and mixed paper and?
He's gonna do, what he's gonna do is he's gonna take milk jugs and the HTP, the whisk bottles and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
combine them. You're gonna get a cheaper rate because the whisk bottles, those detergent bottles are less.
And all that,
So you
yeah.
can put them together, but you get the rate at the cheaper rate, not, so. And then, there's gonna be a separate bin for the paper. So, there's gonna be like
Move it all
people up
over.
on the wall saying, oh, you've got any paper, put it in here, and so.
People will learn, we'll separate it out.
Now, they were confused by the whole thing with the plastic
Well-
bottle tops. Do you remember that? No, let's
The
just.
bottle tops, they said now you can throw them in.
Throw
You
'em in.
can't leave them on the bottle,
Can't leave 'em
because
on
then
the
you
bottle.
can't squash the bottle.
Right,
You can't leave them on the bottle.
Yeah.
So,
because when they crush them, it creates this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Now,
They sent out a thing that said you could leave them on,
yes,
but then.
it was in the Lee Crier.
But then when I went, the guy said, no, you can't do that. And he told me you can't put bottle caps in at all. So I said, okay, so I took off one of my bottle caps, and then I found out from Steve, no, that's not it at all. Take them off and then put them in the bottle cap, so hopefully everybody's, but.
So the bottle cap and the bottle can go in the bin,
But not,
Just not.
but not on.
Fixed.
Oh,
I don't think you're gonna get a lot of that.
what?
I've been throwing all mine in with the,
Paper?
I mean, I've been taking them off for years, but I just been throwing them all in with the caps on now, because it said it in the
He's gonna be
crier.
sending out something to people and telling people.
Put it in the
I would
crier.
say 80% of my office paper gets shredded.
You can bring the shred.
Yeah, we have shred
And
buckets.
I do bring the shred.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it isn't going to be, and that goes in a bucket to be given out for stalls and it's
It
not,
does?
it doesn't go with this stuff.
They
He
don't
didn't mention
recycle
anything
it.
about, I
Huh?
don't know, he didn't mention anything
Yeah.
about doing something different for the.
Well,
The only
shreds-
other change was the the paper that holds like
Yes.
beer bottles or anything that goes in the refrigerator, they said.
Yeah, yeah.
Refrigerator or
It's
freezer.
that shiny stuff because it
Any
doesn't
of paper.
slurry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so if anything goes in the freezer, refrigerator that has food in it, just
So
goes
soda,
in the MSW.
cartons, yeah, beer cartons, that all is trash now.
Yep.
It's so sad.
But I suspect a lot of people will shred their,
Could be.
You're right. I do most.
a lot of prints, a lot of information.
Well, it depends on what kind of information you have.
Yeah, if it's got my address on it, I shred it.
Mm.
I've been involved with fraud cases for too many years.
Oh, yeah, you dealt with all
It's
that.
one of those things. You make like a stamp. You just roll it over your address.
Oh, then they can't see it?
And you can't see it. It's like a,
Oh, an ink blotter thing?
yeah.
Like,
It's
A
easier to
roller.
put it in the automatic shredder.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess that's
Excuse
fair.
me, but
I guess
Or you
that's fair.
can, snip off your address, put the rest in
That doesn't
it.
sound very easier either.
No,
You put the top half in the shredder and then just stop it and take the rest of it out. Also not easier.
I put it in the
I don't
shredder.
have a shredder. I don't have a shredder.
I'm actually having a lot of discussion with my staff now, because they haven't been shredding much of anything. There's a ton of information
Mhm.
that someone could dive into.
personal information.
Government information going out.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yep,
And they're not
whip
shredding.
them into shape,
hmm?
whip them into shape. Now, are
I have
you,
a feeling he will.
are you a town administrator with executive privilege, or are you like the assistant to the board? Do you
I have
have,
executive privilege, I can sign contracts and I can,
okay,
because they do a lot, one of the reasons they wanted to hire me is my contract experience with FEMA.
okay.
Because they have no highway department, they contract that all
Oh,
out.
mhm.
Well, and so it's, you know, a lot of contracts, so they don't have a lot of government employees, they contract most everything out.
Hmm. How many people in the town?
About 1700.
Oh, so really small.
It's small.
All right, well, whip them into shape. All right,
Anything else?
They were having troubles with their contracts, which were one of the things that
Uh-huh.
were in trouble.
that's not good.
No, they were not finding that they were complying with.
Aha. They're not living up to their contract terms, yes.
Well, and the other thing is that maybe the contractor was a low bidder, but my cousin Aby was in a contractor that bid, so Aby would resubmit a new bid.
That's pretty sneaky. I'll also get,
And some folks were looking at him that were
not good.
legal folks.
I'll get the download from Joanne, and I'll create the same worksheets we used last year. That's okay with people? So we can do our different iterations.
Yeah.
No, thank you, that sounds great.
Awesome. Anything else?
Are you actually gonna,
I'll type it.
You
You're
are?
never gonna ever feel like my handwriting.
Oh my
Yours is
God, you're
terrible,
so
mine's
awesome.
really bad.
you gonna type it and send it to me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
awesome.
can do whatever you want with it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You shouldn't have to do everything.
So, any motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
now,
All right.